Alright, I'm gonna start the cleaning up of the wiring here. I mentioned previously I wasn't super stoked on how everything was laid out. I did a super rush job, so all the wires are crazy long and excessive as far as diameter goes, or gauge of wire. So I'm going to eliminate all the red and all the black, and then continue on through. So I got my new soldering station mounted up on my wall here. I've been working on this display for a little bit. It's all 3D printed, so excuse the noise in the background. I will throw some audio on in between here and make it so it's not so annoying. Hopefully this is a better viewing angle for everyone. I'm going to get some snips here. Ignore my messy toolbox. I don't have my garage set up all the way, but go in here. And I made fun of zip ties quite a bit. I do it on Facebook a lot, because you'll see somebody selling their $2,000 MOA, and they literally just got all the excess wires bundled up and then a big old zip tie, and it's like zip tied to an electronics mount. Nothing drives me more nuts than seeing a vehicle that's high dollar, all this money spent, and then they totally just skimp out on focusing on that quality wiring job. So that is the only reason that I do it. It's mostly just to poke fun at the guys who are super proud of their rig, but they spend all this money on everything else, but they don't spend any of the money on wiring. So my soldering iron is already up to temperature. If you look at the way I have it wired, both my red wires go to the inside. So I'm going to unsolder both my motors. Clean my tip here. Just getting it tinned a little bit to help desolder. Okay, power wire gone. Ground gone. I normally have a flat tip on my soldering iron, but I have no idea where my tips are at. This little pointy tip is great for fine stuff, but makes it a little bit more difficult for doing this. Alright. Okay. Going to turn the iron off for now. You'll also see I have a different big old receiver in here. It's super ugly. Alright, this is a little ghetto. This screw is apparently stripped. Luckily, I was able to get it with this little thumb driver here. This screw is going to go in the trash. Anyways, so if you look inside here, the electronics, they just don't look good. Just cobbled together. It's just not the way I like to do business. So now we're going to drop the skid plate. Alright. Plug everything up here. Again, this was a rush job trying to just get it ready for the comp. Driven it a few times, it works great. The one thing I'm not a big fan of doing is shortening the speed control wires. And the only reason I don't like doing that is because these homes, they're so small gauge wire that when you go to recrimp them, even with the crimp tools that I have, they tend to not ever be the same. And they're so small and thin that what we'll do here is we'll coil them up all nice and we'll throw some heat shrink over them and just keep them compact. But okay, so as you can see, get everything disconnected. So we're going to completely eliminate this guy. Old school works great, but I have a low profile version that allows us to put the holes in the side. Now we're going to pop this guy off. That's going to be garbage, that's going to be garbage. And then we're going to go in here, remove the heat shrink. Alright, now I'm going to go get the new wiring. Just a sec here. I'll move on to the next step. Alright, so you can see here we got 16 AWG. That is going to be the gauge of wire that comes standard for the motors. And then obviously the battery is a much heavier gauge. I have always dropped it down to 18. I'm not saying that this is something that you need to do. This is just something that I do for the guys that are counting weight. Obviously this is one way to cheat that system. I was happy with the gauge sizes that I was happy with the lengths that we were using. I'm just tightening my soldering iron out of view here. I was happy with the overall length. So I'm going to start with the ground side here. And I'm going to go back through and I'm basically just going to cut it at that same length. And we're going to strip it back. Good to go. Soldering iron's heating back up here. Sorry, camera view here. Really stubborn, jeez. Got a lot of conformal on there. There we go. So the conformal coating is making it a little bit difficult, but we got it cut out. Now we're going to go ahead and solder in the new piece here. Tin tip. Alright, so new ground wire on there. Nice and clean. Now we're going to do the power wire. So same deal. I'm going to do black on this whole rig. I know, it's crazy. So I'm going to cut my ground wire. And check this out. I got another piece of wire. We're going to pull the red shielding off of it. Alright. Took a little finagling here, but anyways, you get the idea now. So that is going to be the motor side, so we know which one's power. All I'm doing is cutting off the conformal coating a little bit further, so this guy is easier to unsolder, hopefully. again, a flat tip is much better in these applications. When I try to avoid putting too much heat into the board, and these little teeny tips, you'll have to be real careful with that. So. Alright, so that is now my back motor. Cut the conformal coating out of it. I've got my ground side cut to length already. I'm going ahead and strip it. And then we will tin it. And this tip is really making me look like a novice soldering guy, so I apologize. Solder that way. Okay. That one in. Measure our power. And I think I get this bulk wire. You can get this bulk wire at most hobby shops. I'm pretty sure I bought this stuff at Hobby King way back in the day. And I bought an absurd amount, and I've done probably 15 or 20 cars with it. Obviously I still have plenty. Okay, before we forget, put our red silicone on one side. Same deal, other side. Okay, that side's done. Now you'll notice the servo is a direct power. And normally I would wire it directly, but for the sake of needing, if God forbid you needed to replace it quickly, this guy is the way to go. So I'm gonna actually leave it on there. It's gonna have to come off for me to make the next solder connection, but eventually I'm gonna actually put that back on there. Now, I'm going to reuse the 16 for the battery itself, because now we have, you know, 2 of these 16s from removing the larger ones, and my battery lead was too long. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to guesstimate here, and I'm going to say this is how long it needs to be. Go ahead and cut that connection. I'm going to leave the solder on this one end. Tin it. Marry that side back on, come in with the servo side. Solder it back on. I'm using a GoPro, and the GoPro obviously can't zoom in all the way. So this is just, I guess, education the best we can. So I have the GoPro on a chest mount. Trying to put it in the best viewing angle for you guys. I know the lighting sucks because I'm in my garage, so I apologize. This kit does not think the solder iron got left on one too many times. Okay, that one moved. Over here, grab our other wire that we've already reused once. Clean up the wire. So same deal. This wire gauge is heavier, right? So we're gonna come over here, cut the tip off of it. Maybe. It's going. Alright. Now it's on there. Just checking for length here. It's on right there. Okay. So we got an XT30. They're labeled positive and negative on the sides of them. They make jigs for these, but this is just a simple Nipex with a rubber band wrapped around it. I'm going to start by sliding on a piece of heat shrink that's going to simply keep these wires together. I'm going to slide it all the way down. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because you gotta slide this up. This to go through like that. Okay, one more. So these two pieces are going to be to just keep the wires nice and tight. Okay. This guy is going to be to cover the connection over here. Look at that, just by me pulling that, it actually slid the silicone out. Alright, so now the ground is ready to be applied. Or sorry, the power. So plus to the red. Bada bing, bada boom. That guy's on there. Slide the heat shrink over it. Slide the torch over here. Alright, power side is done. Slide that back to the top. Now we'll move over to the ground side. Same process. Strip it. Tin it. Beautiful. Tin our connector. Sure we put a heat shrink on there, cut it a little bit shorter. Beautiful. Okay. Now let's take these guys. All that's doing is just keeping the wires together. Nice and clean. So now you're gonna have, these are gonna be going forward. Do the same thing. Cut up a couple pieces of heat shrink. Now I've seen some guys will lace it, right? They'll take this, they'll install it, and they'll run their wires, and they'll run the heat shrink over the links, and then heat shrink it all together on that upper link. Super sweet. I did that one time, and then we went playing in a puddle, and from my electronics. And we needed to replace them quickly, and that just needed a later. We're not going to do that. Granted, I'm in Arizona now. Oh, we're not gonna have any puddles, but it did rain on our last comp, so I'm safe and sorry. Okay. Now we've done. So again, that's the front. Don't worry about these guys just yet. Alright, so I got my heat shrink here. I bought this from a local electronics store, but you can also buy it on pretty much any online hobby shop. Some local hobby shops have it. This is a 1/2 inch thickness. That's what it says. Oh, recovers to a 1/2 inch. So it's 1 inch, recovers to a 1/2 inch with a 2-in-1 shrink ratio. Alright, so I'm going to have a flat receiver up here, and I know that these are going to plug into it. Remember how I told you we're going to hide those wires later? So this is what we're going to do. So I took the excess, I will bond it at the bottom here. Now I'm going to take my heat shrink. Slide it over our bundle. Make sure we're still good here. Alright, party on. So normally I do this with a heat gun. If you do it too hot with a torch, you'll burn wires. We'll take your time. Get it too hot, it'll just rip the heat shrink. And let's start again. Not the end of the world. Obviously, it's just the burning of the wires that we want to not do. Alright. That's our new package. Cleaner wires, all black. Voila. Alright, here is our low profile receiver. It's a R2106GF. And this guy is going to plant right here. See how small that package is going to be. So I give it a little bit of tape on the bottom. If you guys are not familiar with certain 3 amps, it's the same material that holds your half your darn car together these days. So if you don't think it's strong enough, think again. It does require you to have 2 clean surfaces. Now you'll notice there's a little switch. Right here there's a switch. That's your bind button. I've got that tape on there which holds it down. I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to add heat shrink to it. So only a thin piece as to not block your bind button. Not stretch over there. What I learned is you take this heat shrink, put some elbow grease into it, and stretch it out a little bit more. Let's see if that's enough. Currently, it's a little too thin. Sorry, it's a little too thick. Right, it's gonna shrink. So, I'm gonna try that. See if we get lucky and it shrinks just enough. It didn't shrink enough, but that's all we really needed. So we're good to go. Now I just need to look at what channels I have programmed. Plug it in. Lay this guy back in there. And like I said, you could shorten your servo wires as well. You could shorten your power wires. I'm not going to. That's one thing that I've done in the past. It's always just seemed to nick me in the butt. The hand crimps that you buy are just never good enough. Some guys will cut and solder. Some guys will go to the board, unsolder it, cut the wire, and solder the board. It's not too bad of a deal, but with this, all this that's in there, I just don't want to touch it. So we'll go up here and make it nice and pretty inside, and then call it a day. If you guys caught this, go ahead and leave a comment below, but I did solder on the wrong lead for the speed control. It was supposed to be this guy here, which is a female socket with a male plug inside. And as you can see, I soldered on the battery side. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that change real quick, off camera, but just note that I did catch it and I'm changing that out. Alright, I stuck the speed control and the receiver inside the chassis. Use that same double-sided tape on the bottom of the skid. I've ran the wires across the upper link. I ended up heat shrinking the servo wire because I just couldn't stand the red. I just need to solder up the motors. Same deal, we're in it down here. Right now, once I put this cover on, check this out. Cover sits nice and flat now. Pretty nice. Alright, there she is, all buttoned up. Motors are soldered on. Black wiring. Nice clean electronics underneath. This is what I'm talking about by no jumbled up mess with a big zip tie wrapped around a bundle of wire. Super nice and clean. Wish the GoPro would focus in there, but you guys get the idea. Nice and clean. Stoked that this cover will finally sit on there flush. Super minimalistic out the back. Now I just gotta work on the shocks and we're good to go. Thanks for watching.